the upside of failure. I've been a fan of this woman since forever. Renate Stuurman.
Hi, how are you?
Honey, thank you
my
for
goodness,
coming.
Thank you for this. I told you I'm nervous. I was so nervous coming here. I was so nervous the morning, getting ready in the bath. Oh my gosh, I better not sound like a fool on the radio. It's serious business. 7:02 now, Renata. Don't be a clown.
Everybody's like, I feel like with the more interviews we do, the more nervous people become, but also the more people that are like, ooh, I want to share, but with her.
Yes.
And I love that just about this feature, that it's really grown into a space of just being authentic and real. Now, I have to share one of my earliest memories of you. I always remembered seeing you on screen and thinking you were just so exceptionally beautiful. Like the dimple and talent. And I was like, this gorgeous woman. And then one day when I was living in Norwood, I think we bumped into each other at the Woolies.
Yes, friend.
As we do.
We love to bump into each other at the Woolies.
And I just remember you were with somebody else back then.
Yes.
And then and I remember thinking, she's so cute in person. And you hugged me like we've just known each other forever.
Oh, thank you. You have got such a wonderful energy. So you also have to accept that people react to you that way, because that is the energy that you give to them.
Because I felt like I was having a fangirl moment.
No.
And you literally hugged me like we've known each other for years. And it was such a great experience. And every time I would see you, because we were in the same hood of the Norwood, and I was just, oh man, I just
thank you.
Always loved your vibe and the characters that you play. And you are one of those people in the business. You know, sometimes industry events can get like really overwhelming. So if I'm there and I'm like, I need to gravitate towards someone, I'd gravitate to you. And when I know I can be like...
What a wonderful thing to say, because I love those people myself, because I also find those things quite nerve-wracking, sometimes tedious, and you need someone who feels like warm, home,
someone
friendly.
You can say, oh, your Spanx also hurting.
Something real, you know?
Like, girl,
yes,
my bra's killing me.
I really took my shoes off.
How long do we still have to do this for?
Exactly.
Oh, how have you been?
I've actually been so good. I mean, I'm in a very, it sounds so like, you know, guys, I'm in a very good place. But I really am. I'm in a very good place. And I'm very happy, and I'm excited about the work that I'm doing, and I'm in a good place, you know. That's a very simple answer to how I'm doing.
The reason I respect people saying I'm in a good place is because there's an assumption that good place means like you're so happy and everything in your life is like where you want it to be.
Exactly.
But it's like just being content with where you are, and I want you to share with us what the formula is for you. I know one of the big ingredients for me is just gratitude and being present. What is the formula for you of like, excuse me, I'm in a good place?
Do you know, I was coming out of quite a difficult, I would say, last 2 years, a few years, let's just put it like that. And something that I really didn't want to do was acknowledge that I'm really in not a good place. You know what I mean? Like, I was not happy. I was quite sad, and I just didn't want to sit in that thing. You know what I mean? It felt really heavy. I was like, how can I not deal with this? But in the end, like, the thing that gets you through is like getting through the thing, right? Like, it's the acknowledgement goes both ways. The acknowledgement goes when things are good, and the acknowledgement goes when you're in a really like low place. That you cannot run away from yourself. You cannot run away from the thing that you are feeling. And so the minute that I just accepted that, and I was fighting it hard, make no mistake, I was not trying to, you know, I was just like, can I, and it just wouldn't let me go, you know, and I had to sit down with it and be like, okay, cool, so now it's me and you, and we are here, and it's not nice, but we just I have to come every day and sit with you and acknowledge that thing, because the more you push something down is the more it wants your attention, right? It's the more it wants to grab you by the collar and say, look at me when I'm talking to you.
How did your body tell you? Because people's bodies respond in different ways. Did your immune system get weak? Did you feel anxious?
Yeah, I try hard not to deal with my feelings, right? I try hard not to to be super emotional or get really deep into the muck of the whole thing, right? And so for me, I had to get into the mud of it. You know what I mean? That's how I had to deal with it, and that's what my body wanted. You know, it wanted me to acknowledge like very sad feelings, really questioning like, yo, am I actually still even doing the right thing with my life? Like what are you doing? Should you even be here by the lights, camera, action, babe? Like maybe it's time to give it up.
Why I love and just feel so validated hearing what you're saying. I feel like maybe once a month I say to my sister or like my therapist, I don't know what I'm doing with my life. Like, what am I doing with my life?
Yes.
And, like, what am I supposed to be doing? What am I doing?
What am I doing? Am I being ridiculous? Am I supposed to be like growing up already and making some grown up choices or decisions or something, right? And what I have had to do is just go like, even that conversation, even saying those things, acknowledging them, is part of what I have to do to say that my life is good and that I'm in a good place. You know what I mean? It means that I'm not lying to myself, because I came out of a very nice warm bath of lying to myself for a hot minute. You know what I mean? So like I'm not doing that anymore. And so that allows me to always know that I'm checking in with myself, and whatever choices I'm making, me, myself, and I, we had a nice conversation about it, and we're okay with it all the time. We're okay with it.
What is your life is good moment that you can share with me? And I'll tell you what my life is good moment. Maybe a few months ago, baby boy was going to be away for the weekend. I had the house to myself, and I finished with radio, and I rushed home to make popcorn.
Yes.
And I was so excited to be alone on the couch with the remote, without any plans of what I'm going to watch, and popcorn. And I thought to myself, life is good, man. Like, that was my life is good moment.
Our life is good moments are very similar. I really enjoy my own space and being by myself. And as you say, for me, it is very similar. I enjoy being alone, locking the door, expecting no one, and knowing that there's not a person who has a key that can just come in. You know what I mean? It is my house. And I can, as you say, if I wake up and I want to rot on my couch for the entire day and get giddy at the thought of that, maybe I'll order some food. Maybe I won't. Maybe I'll eat all the nonsense in my cupboard.
I know you drink. You don't even pour your juice in a glass.
Who,
when
me?
You're rotting.
No, you do not.
Drink from the box. I know you do. You drink. You look like those people who stand at the fridge in your t-shirt and
actually,
underwear.
let me be honest with you. You know, sometimes what I do when I'm alone is like I'll make it really cute for myself, because I'm into this thing about like romanticizing my life. I wake up in the morning, I make myself a cup of coffee, I take a picture every morning, and I post it on my social media. It's just a little thing that I do for myself. And so when I'm alone, I will make things cute for me.
Nice.
I will pour my ginger beer in a champagne flute. Do you know what I mean? And I'll eat the popcorn out of the box, and I'll be alone, and I'll be happy, and I'll watch that thing that I know nobody wants to watch with me, and I don't have to ask anyone's permission to do whatever it is I want to do for the day. And yes, so that is it's very similar to yours.
I love it for you. We continue on the upside of failure with Renate Stuurman. And not just phenomenal, she's award-winning.
I thank you.
She got that trophy. She got that golden horn sitting somewhere in her house. 011-883-0702, the WhatsApp line 072-702-1702. Where's your golden horn sitting?
Do you know that was a group project? It's when the SAFTA still did Best Ensemble Cast. So I'm pretty sure.
I also wore one as a Best Ensemble Cast, and I won the trophy.
I'm sure the production company has it somewhere in a glass cabinet.
Quizzical, I'll call you.
Yeah.
For my Rhythm City Best Cast.
Yes, we won a Best Ensemble Cast in a Drama, and it was wonderful because the production itself was so incredible.
Yes.
And it was my first kind of venture into telling stories that are centered around women and female friendships. And so it was wonderful to be acknowledged for that, actually.
When we talk happiness is, right, having gone from it being a 4-letter word and evolving to now is, outside of the title and the film.
Mm.
You know, we were speaking now about our life's good moments. What is the happiness is moment? Because I feel like they're little, you know, the sparkle. Is it called a sparkle? The thing they would put in your ice cream at Spur.
Yes.
You know how it's like a burst and then it goes. Those
Yes.
moments that are burst of, oh my gosh.
Yes.
What are those moments for you?
I've had a few, I think, in my it's often centered around my career, I think, because I mean a lot of my, I guess, identity is, you know, kind of tied up with that. And so when you feel particularly proud of a project, and it's not always the ones that people might know about, you know what I mean?
The ones that do like
The
wow
ones
and
that are
trend.
loud.
Yes.
You know, it's not always the ones that are loud that make you feel like that. I love doing theatre, and I was doing quite a bit over the past few years, and those moments would often make me feel like, yeah, you know what, I'm still on the right track of doing this thing. You know, it's meaningful work, and when I step off the stage at night, I'm on a high for 2 hours until midnight, because the interaction with the audience and the kind of nightly work of trying to find just the right moment, and you don't that night, and maybe you had it for one moment and then you lost it, whatever, but just that thing of like working through those moments every night is often the little glimmer that I guess you're talking about, you know. And obviously, you know, the other fun things, you know, like movies coming out and it's a lovely premiere and people celebrate you and they're so excited. And those things are wonderful. But I mean, just for me, the things that really feed me, that really make me feel like there's something meaningful and worthwhile that I'm doing with what I consider to be my art or my craft or whatever you want to call it, you know.
And I think it is such a valuable skill to be able, and I'm calling it a skill because it requires practice, to be able to not attach your feeling of pride to how other people respond to your work. But I'm so intrigued by what you said about your a big part of your identity is connected to your work, which for me, that has tripped me up a lot when it comes to my personal life, because now when work is quiet or I cannot work, like I don't know who I am, I'm a shadow of my former self. So I'm wondering then, how do you define failure? How do you define it for yourself, taking those things into consideration? And as creatives, we are highly sensitive people. Yay.
I'm an artist and I'm sensitive about my, you know,
yes,
to quote
Beyonce
the great,
said
to quote the great Erykah Badu, right?
Yes.
So, yes, you are correct. And please I don't mean to make it sound as if I've just got everything like so figured out, and I don't, it doesn't trip me up either.
At least you look put together.
Thank you.
That don't look like your problems.
Right. But like it does trip me up, that thing of when it is quiet and when it's quiet for a long time, right? And then you're like, is it me? Like, is it a sign that I should not be doing this, or that I'm not worthy of doing this, or that actually I was lying all along and now everyone knows that I should never have been doing this thing to begin with?
They found me out.
Right? So that sense of failure or of not, for me, has always kind of been this thing of like not quite being enough, and having people find out that actually, you know, this, I don't understand.
She
what
wasn't
are
even
the,
that great
right?
anyways.
All the hype around Renate, really, I find it to be quite average. And I've read that sometimes, and I'm like, well, I never said I wasn't average. You know what I mean? But like that sense haunts
I'm
you.
laughing because people on Twitter like to say she's not, and then it's like, but you never claimed you were.
No, I never said that. But you know, I'm actually just doing the thing that I love to do, and you can come along or you don't have to. It's, you know, it's fine. But for me, that sense of like failure has always been connected to this idea of like, someone's going to find out that when I did my best, I was found wanting. You know what I mean? When I put it all out there, it was like,
is that all?
Is that it? You know, I watched another actress on another show, and she was so much better. This is why I don't watch South African television, you know, guys, because I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
You know, so that voice is something that I think a lot of actors, artists, creatives struggle with. Sometimes it's super loud. Sometimes you think, oh, I've been to therapy. I got my things together now. My therapist gave me tools, right? And I'm like, I'm plunging through the gunk or whatever, and I'm doing well. And other times it just gets you, and you question everything.
So with that being said, because there's the awareness, the intellectual awareness and knowing, right? But the connecting to the psychology and the emotional part is the part that sucks. Because I often am like to my therapist, you lied. You said I'm doing better. Why are we here again? You lied.
monthly, my therapist and I are having the same conversation. You know what I mean?
Why are we still here talking about the same thing?
Yes.
And with that though, but here's my thought. I think, and I could be wrong, that you would not be as great an actress as you are if you didn't have that complex conversation constantly happening in your brain. And the reason I say that is because you are missing the level of comfort that some people live in. And the discomfort means your feet are constantly itchy to do better, and that's a theory I have about you.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. I really actually love hearing you say that, because there is something about a passion that you've had your entire life, right? That you don't know why you knew that this was the thing that you were meant to do, but you knew it from when you were whatever, and now you're doing it, and you don't ever want to become stagnant in that thing. You know what I mean?
Yes.
You do always want to do better for yourself. You know what I mean? Like for me, wanting to do better, to be better has less to do with what the reviews will be and more to do with how I'm going to feel when I leave set. Did I feel like I left everything? When I walk off stage, like maybe it hit, maybe it didn't, but did I leave there was not a drop more that I could have done.
She left everything
on the floor. Yes. Did I leave everything on the floor? Because if I've left everything on the floor, then what people think of it or a review of something, that part you have to surrender because it's not about you. The only part that's always going to be itchy and it's always going to come back to like wake you up in the middle of the night is if you did not, if you felt like you could have done more and you didn't do more. Like just, like if you could just do the most, as the kids say, you know.
You are getting me to think about a question I must ask you when we come back, right? Which is around all your relationships in your life, like all of them. If you take the same approach of, I want to walk away knowing I did everything I could.
Yes,
and if that worked against you, because
I thought we were only talking about work.
Where you want to say, I put it all on the floor.
Listen, we're going down a road. Make no mistake, I'm prepared for this conversation.
Renate, guys, please know she studied for this interview. She watched other Upside of Failures.
Hey, I did. I was like, I need to know. I can't come here and I need to know the tone of this thing. I can't come here ill-prepared.
When we come back, I'm going to ask you which conversation you enjoyed of the ones you watched.
Yes. This is how this is going to work, okay? You are a client. Nothing more, nothing less.
Yes, ma'am.
You do know that you're playing with fire, right?
I am just saying it wouldn't hurt to go the extra mile to impress the partner.
As a married woman, if you're going to cheat, you're going to cheat with someone who's married. Then it's not cheating. I don't love you. I never do.
It's about the lies! Lies all this time!
Guys, why all this drama around these men? I thought they were just meant to be like a light distraction.
The Upside of Failure, Renate Stuurman, and that's the trailer of her latest work and offering. Renate, drama engaka.
No, man, stop it. Let's begin at the beginning. That's the trailer from the first one.
From the first, my apologies. That is the first one.
That is the first one, yes. It was
Does
lovely.
it give you goosebumps because you got
It's
so excited?
So nostalgic to hear all of that. And also just to think back to a time when we didn't know what the movie was going to do and how people would receive it. And to just remember, working hard, being on set, and now it is, the happiness movement that it's become.
And we all need some happiness in our lives, like bits and bits of it. Now, before we went to the news, we were chatting about how this attachment to, you know, your craft being your identity that sort of sets you up in a trap of the times where now you aren't
Yes.
busy and now feel like maybe you don't know who you are. But how then possibly, also coupled with the imposter syndrome, how then possibly you want to put it all on the floor to maybe like satisfy that box, like even if, okay, maybe I am an imposter, but I know I did everything.
Yes.
And how that affects you in your personal relationships, where that thing of, no man, I wanna walk away knowing Uguti, I did everything.
Staying beyond.
Right?
Staying beyond, doing more than is necessary.
You-
And for me, it manifested, for lack of a better word, in me not listening to myself, right? In me being the person that I kept pushing into a corner, into a smaller box,
Gaslighting yourself.
under the house, you know, the basement, under the basement. To like I was not a feature in my own life, and my own voice was not a feature in my own life. And I think that becomes the hardest thing. And that was a very big lesson that I've been learning over the last, I would say, 2 years, is that I have to listen to myself in all of these moments. You know what I mean? Because then I find myself lost, going beyond, doing more than, for a space that actually I'm not even meant to be in, caring more than I should, staying longer than you should in a job, in a friendship, in whatever that is, right? Because you're not listening to yourself.
So,
Because yourself is waking you up early
Yeah.
to go, why are we still here?
so then let me ask you this, because you do have a great self-awareness, but we know the journey from awareness to actualization is a whole different story.
It
But
really is.
what do you think it is specifically about your upbringing, your childhood, that brought you to that place?
Do you know, I'm an older sister, I'm the firstborn, I'm all of those things. And so that desire to do the right thing exactly right, to make sure that when people look at me, my parents, my family, I'm always seen to be doing the right thing. I'm achieving things the right way. You're never going to look at me and think, oh no, I need to worry about Renata. Oh no, you know, Renata is the tag along behind. She's not doing. You know, I was always trying to show up and do more so people can look at me and say, "Oh, good, good." So we don't. You're not doing the. You're doing the not even the right thing, the very right thing. You know what I mean? You are not the troublemaker. You are not. I was listening to the conversation you had with my Sasa. You know, it was so interesting because in some ways our journeys feel so similar, and in other ways they're completely different. You know, I started young doing theater, doing children's theater, drama, all of these things, knowing, yes, this is the path I'm supposed to be walking. Also knowing it's not exactly the path that people want you. It's not what parents want for their kids, an industry that is not secure, that's not stable. And so always having to prove that, yes, this is it. You know, I am good enough to be here and look at the work, and it is good, and don't judge me, or don't, you know what I mean, don't not love me because I've chosen to do this thing. You know, I love it and I'm good at it and I know it's the right thing for me and I'm going to try and do my best at it. So please see that. Don't just see it as, geez, what did this child, why is she doing this? Just go be a teacher.
Yes, and
know
I
what I mean?
think the worst part of what you're describing, that many who have not been called in the way that people like ourselves have been called are not aware of, is it's not that we don't know, it's difficult. So the tragedy is there's this thing you know you're meant to be doing, but you know you're choosing a life of difficulty, of absolute sheer suffering. 95% of I don't know what I'm doing, I don't know who I am, I don't know where my next paycheck is coming from, blah, blah, blah. But for 5% of, but I'm meant to be here and I know I'm meant to be here.
Yes, and also that 5% feeds you so much more than, oh, just go get a real job. And, you know, that sense of knowing and of trusting yourself, for me, it has more weight than any other thing, which is why I'm still here.
But
right?
also, the difference is we are called. That's why we're not getting a real job. because this is a calling.
Yes, of course.
A job is a job.
Yes, and it's
A
no,
calling.
you know, and it's
And
no,
teachers are also called,
this-
nurses
yes,
are called.
Yes,
yeah.
this is not meant as any shade to
Yes.
to other people at all. Some people, they only understand what it is that they're meant to do much later on in life. And for some of us, we also know that thing earlier on. And I think there is an amount of bravery when you know this thing when you're young to hold on to that and say, I know the thing that I'm meant to do. And no matter what people say to me, important people, influential people, your family, whoever it may be, that in actual fact, I am going to follow that thing and I am going to listen to myself, you know?
Oh, that is so difficult
It's
and
difficult.
hard and deep. But I think many people can connect with it. And I think sometimes, like when we speak the way that we do, it sounds so elitist. But when we're talking about calling, I believe teachers are in that space.
Yes.
I believe, people
Nurses,
that work with
my
children.
mom was a nurse. Nurses are in that space.
Yes, even those that want to serve their country in the
Yes,
various ways that they
yes,
do.
yes.
They're public servants that are called. So when people say just get a job, your spirit and your soul will always be sucked into coming back to home. That's your spirit's
Yes.
home and your
Oh, that's
soul's
beautiful.
home. That's why you are called. That's your home.
Yes.
So it is torturous.
Yes. Do you
And
know
there
that
are
when
very
I
torturous moments.
when I started, like when I finished studying, and I just wanted to work, I wanted to be in the industry. I studied in Grahamstown at Rhodes. It did not prepare me for life as an actor at
Girl.
all, right? It was wonderful.
For the goishing life.
It was wonderful for me. Rhodes was a wonderful place. It was right for me. And I'm grateful to my parents for that. But it did not prepare me, right, for what the industry would be. But I remember thinking, okay, I'm ready now to be rejected. I'm ready for someone to go, don't call us, we'll call you,
yes.
right? I had a romanticized view of what I thought the life of an actor would be. And there comes a point where you're in the middle of all of it, where you can't see the beginning and you can't see the end. And you're like, dude, what am I doing? Like, why am I here? I should, like, what am I? This is not it. And you question everything.
Yeah.
You don't even know, like, should I even trust myself? I'm the one who got myself into this thing.
We have some beautiful messages coming through. When we come back, the upside of failure with Renate Stuurman. We've got some voice notes coming through from you.
Good afternoon, 702 and the team. Trust you guys are blessed. Good afternoon to Renate Stuurman. Renata, this afternoon, in many households, there may be doubts, there may be challenges, there may be strife, there may be animosity. What is your message this afternoon to all the mamas and the papas and the children of South Africa? What is your message to them? Thank you so much. Be blessed. Be blessed indeed.
What is your message?
Hi,
Okay, let's.
Hi, Renata. Wow, I'm enjoying the conversation. I just wanted to say I so enjoyed. Look, I think I've watched a couple, but the one I can state for sure is where you guys were friends. I think you were an accountant in that sisters type, girlfriends type, thingy. Series, and I think Tembeka Mdoda was in that one as well. I enjoyed that sisterhood that you guys had there. Good luck with the rest of your work projects. I enjoy your work. Tembi.
Yo, Renate Stuurman, the American from Isidingo. Yo, I will never forget. I actually thought you were a real American. That's how incredible you are. And of course, as Tamia from Scandal, not to mention the piece de resistance, Princess, happiness is a four-letter word. What if I don't like the kid? What if the kid doesn't like me? What if I don't like the kid? Zaza. Love your work.
My goodness.
Goodness, what a Zaza, what a lovely message. The pressure to say the right thing. What do I say to people? I mean, I think for me, the thing that I hold on to is always I'm not a particularly religious person, but I I do pray in my own space and in my own time, and it's something that is important to me. And I think that idea of talking to something that is bigger than yourself, whatever that may be for you, saying thank you. We spoke about gratitude earlier, and I find it often in moments where I feel the most fear and anxiety. Fear is it feels like a small word for what I'm trying to describe in those moments.
Not grounded and unsettled.
But really hurt, fear, pain, whatever that thing is. And in those moments, the thing that I try to do first is just to say, like, thank you for whatever I can say, be grateful for, even for this moment, because I don't actually know where it's going to take me. You know what I mean? So I have to say thank you for whatever this experience is. And it sounds so trite when you say it, when people are going through like massive hardships and pains, to say that. But honestly, that is what I do, you know. So I don't know what else to say.
No, I think it's nail on the head. You have to find something bigger than yourself, because the world we're living in is insane and it's confusing. So some refer to it as faith.
Exactly.
Some refer to it as other things. The WhatsApp messages coming through. Hey guys, my favorite ladies in the studio. I've worked with both of you as a makeup artist, ladies from Norwood. I always bumped into you, Renate. Beautiful work, Renate. Love you girls from Corny.
Oh, thank you. Oh my goodness. Ladies of Norwood. Yes, that's correct.
Lebo, you are talking to one graceful, beautiful lady. Every time I see her, she is always wearing stunning earrings, which she is today. I make earrings and would love to gift her a pair. I'm not even about the airtime, hence I'll remain anonymous. You can share my details with her or have someone coordinate. Stay graciously beautiful, Renata. And
thank you.
More of your voice notes on 0727021702.
I so much understand what you guys are speaking about. It's Karen on the line. I understand if you have the calling and it's burning in your heart to make a difference and to change the world and make the world a better place, then you feel this burning and this passion to work on your calling and to make it grow and to make a difference. Often if you're employed, you are working on someone else's dream and you are working on their passion and on making their passion work. Whereas if you are working your own business, despite not having job security and despite not having your own salary, you are working on your dream and on your inspiration and making the world a better place on your terms. I really understand that I am there where I am doing that now.
Oh, Renate Stuurman, you have no idea how much I love that lady right there. I remember going to watch, the Happiness movie with my girlfriend. It brings back so many memories, especially that clip that you played. When I look at Renata and I think to myself,
I don't know, please put a question out to Renata. Why did that one show where she acted in, in a hospital and she was a doctor on that show, and with the husband that wanted to have kids and she didn't want to have kids. Why did that show just have one season and it just stopped abruptly? I just can't remember the name of it, but it was awesome. I loved it.
Which show was that?
The show that I was nominated for a SAFTA
Oh,
for. Thank you. It's called Hartklop, and it was an Afrikaans medical drama.
Yes.
And I played a doctor who was going through a lot. You know, her marriage was falling apart. She was extremely focused on her career. She realized eventually that she doesn't want to have a family, and her marriage suffered. And thank you to that caller who remembered that show. It didn't end abruptly. It ended as shows do, with the final episode. I don't know if there's going to be another season, but it was a wonderful show to shoot.
You have had such a fantastic career, a beautiful body of work, but just, from what you've shared today and how you're growing, I just love your vulnerability to say 3 years. And I'm sure in real time it's very slow, but in the context of life, it's like, I got through those 3 years. what would you share with all of us that you have learned about failure from the negative voice in your head? What do they call it? The self-criticizing voice, and then the other voices, and from an intellectual perspective, and also just from a soul perspective.
So my name means rebirth, right? And I've always known that. And as I've gotten older, I've really known it. And what the last few years have taught me, whether it's failure or feeling like I'm not enough or whatever, is that I can get through hard things. I can withstand it. It won't break me. I will feel very broken in the moment of it. And I will feel as if I cannot lift myself up, as if I'm dragging along on my knuckles, or some days I'm not even moving at all. But what I do know is that I know fully in myself as I'm sitting here today is that I can get through hard things, that something can feel as if it's crushing you, as if it's suffocating you, but you will, you just, that's how life moves.
Yes.
It's the cycles of life, is that you will get through, and that one day it feels a little lighter. You know what I mean? And one day you find yourself and you're like, sure, but this time last year I was in a very different place.
Right.
I don't even remember how I got out. I remember, of course, I had my friends and my family. Yes. And eventually I also had myself, you know.
Thank you for coming through.
Thank you.
You put it all on the floor. You left it all on the floor, sis.
I mean, I walked in here thinking I need to unpack the suitcase. And I did.
I will. Somebody's saying that you have been their their brother's all-time crush, for a long time.
What's up to your brother? What's good? Where are you?
Look how you came here. You got a crush and you got earrings, girl.
Listen, and I thank you. Thank you for hooking me up.
We will continue to follow your work, follow you on the socials. I personally adore you, and I'm so glad I get to scream it literally from the rooftop of the world, and everybody can hear me.
So
give you your flowers.
Here. Thank you. I
your
love
tulips, your bunnies, all of them, your
you.
proteas.
Thank you.
I love you, Renate Stuurman. Thank you so much for joining us on The Upside of Failure. Conversations or podcast, primemediaplus.com, or download the app.
702. The Upside of Failure.
Sometimes failure is the foundation of greatest success stories.